Let's start with the most controversial pre-financing and reimbursement scheme. Now, I don't know whether this has been happening in SLFA before, but all indication shows that under the leadership of Thomas Daddy Brima, this pre-financing and reimbursement scheme was taken to a whole new level. Several funds were made to Thomas Daddy Brima from 2021 to 2025. It is claimed by the finance officer that these funds are in respect of pre-financing done by the president for various SLFA activities. No proper explanation or documentation have been submitted by any SLFA official to us. For instance, a refund was made to Thomas Daddy Brima of $97,804 for payment he claimed he made for U-17 travels. But the supporting documents provided initially as proof or reason for payment by the head of finance did not match the refund paid to Thomas Daddy Brima. Supporting documents showed a total of $106,805 instead of $97,804, which was claimed. That was refunded to him, giving a variance of $9,000, which clearly shows that the documents cannot be trusted. Several other substantial refunds to Thomas Daddy Brima do not have any accompanying documents. According to the SLFA manual, section 8, it clearly states that all payments should be done through bank transfers, but in most cases, reimbursement was done to Thomas Daddy Brima through the head of finance by cash payments for multiple transactions. This is a direct breach of the SLFA statute. On matching receipts and invoices, the invoices that were submitted for tickets paid in relation to travel for the under-17 team total $9,500 and were issued by Cinderella Limited, but they were not submitted with receipts from the same company. Receipts issued by Dreams Travel and Tours were attached to the Cinderella invoice for payment, clearly showing invoice and receipts for a single transaction by two entities. So you say Cinderella are the ones who issued the ticket, but you give us a receipt from Dreams Travel. That is what happened in this circumstance. Management letter issued by the external auditors outline audit issues raised by the auditors and management responses to those issues. King Walker and Associates have been the external auditors of SLFA for over 5 years. And in one of their management letters dated 6 February 2025, they questioned a refund dated the 4th of April 2022. So this shows that this has been ongoing for a very long time. The sum of $63,100 was made without sufficient documentation out of that payment that was questioned. According to SLFA manual, SLFA finances all its activities while some matches played are financed by the National Sport Authority and allowances are paid to the delegation by the National Sport Authority. It was noted that on a few occasions, SLFA president will collect allowances for trips from the NFC and collect allowances again for the same trip from the SLFA account. All reimbursement is done to a single individual, the president of SLFA. No other person gets reimbursement except the president. And based on our analysis, Thomas Daddy Brima's accounts are not showing any bank payments to SLFA to substantiate the reasons for the refunds. So, at least show us in your account that you moved $97,000 to SLFA, or you withdrew $97,000 from SLFA. His account does not show any such transaction. The only thing that we can see is him saying when money comes that I gave SLFA $97,000, pay me back, and they process it among themselves and pay it. In his USD account, we ascertained that his cash inflows were only from SLFA, CAF, and FIFA. His dollar account, his personal dollar account, the only monies that go in there are money that come from SLFA, CAF, and FIFA, and no other source. Several letters have been issued by the executive committee to the president to stop all pre-financing and to explain with evidence reasons for the reimbursements received. Even though it is the policy of FIFA to avoid all cash payments, they are always using cash for transactions. Always cash. The president and other SLFA officials are totally ignoring FIFA and SLFA statutes and rules for their operations. So there are finance manuals by FIFA. There is a finance manual for SLFA. They basically don't consider them at all. They just do what they feel like, and most times through cash transactions. According to the delegate list for under-17 male team to Mauritania, Thomas Daddy Ibrahima was not part of the delegation, but still collected the sum of $5,000 as allowance for the trip. This was supposed to be an 8-day trip, as the team returned in 8 days. Therefore, even if he was on the trip, he was supposed to secure an allowance of $4,000. But he collected an extra $1,000 for the trip he may not even have been part of. When trips are booked for tournaments, arrangements are made with traveling agencies to change their return tickets for free if the national team or under-17 is eliminated from the competition. But Thomas Daddy Ibrahima claimed a return of $11,700 as expenses he incurred to change the ticket for the same 8 days trip. We have not been able to get any justification for this. Based on our findings, we are able to ascertain that a letter was sent to the banks demanding change in the mandate of SLFA that was originally stated to be A plus B to sign any two. The letter was only signed by the president without the executive committee resolution. So basically what this is saying, there was a letter that came to change the signatories to the SLFA account. And this may have happened after Chris Kamara was set aside by the, I'm sure you are already aware of this, that for a very long time, Chris Kamara has not been part of the team at SLFA. He was suspended. We do not go into the merits of that suspension. That is not part of our investigation. But he was suspended. Now, to change that account, Thomas Daddy Ibrahima wrote and changed it without any approval of the executive committee. And there has to always be such a resolution to support any request for change of signatories. According to SLFA statute, it clearly states that any change of signatories should be approved by the executive committee or of SLFA. The president in his interview said he does not need to consult with anyone when making decisions, as he is mandated by Section 38 in the SLFA statute to take decisions unilaterally. He also expressed that there was a FIFA consultant monitoring SLFA affairs and there were regular audits conducted by FIFA, but he was never found wanting for any breach of procedures or corruption. On this point, we spoke to one of the executive committee members, Mr. Kwekulis. He made a statement to the commission, and he was very clear that, in fact, there was an executive committee meeting where they took a specific decision that the account signatories should not be changed. So it is even bad that they were not being consulted, but here they took a decision to say, do not change or add a signatory. The president still went ahead and did it. From the review of the USD bank statement of SLFA from Commerce Mortgage Bank and Union Trust Bank from the period 25th June 2021 to 12th July 2024, a total transfer of $720,000 was made to various accounts of Thomas Daddy Ibrahima, some of which were cash withdrawals. Table 1 below shows excerpts from the bank statement. It was made clear that the president is entitled to yearly allowances of $25,000, which means $100,000 of the above amount can be his allowance for the 4 years period, which we can confirm when we eventually which we can confirm when we eventually speak with him. 720,144 is still unaccounted for as payments he received in excess of the allowance he's entitled to. And I will just go briefly to table 1, which shows Trust Bank, Commerce and Mortgage Bank transfer to Thomas Daddy Bremer. 25th June 2021, $17,400. 14 August 2021, $4,210. 13 August 2021, $4,210. 8 September 2021, $20,000. 1st October 2021, $5,000. 29 October 2021, $5,000. 11 November, $4,000. 19 November, $2,000. 2nd February, $4,693. 17 February, $4,693. 21st February 2022, $1,693. 21 March 2022, $6,000. 29 March 2022, 6 April 2022, $63,100. 6 April 2022, $6,000. 14 April 2022, $10,000. 17 November 2022, $7,000. 8 July 2022, $25,700. 8 July 2022, $4,590. 19 July 2022, cash withdrawal, $106,000. 27 July 2022, $25,000. 1st August 2022, cash withdrawal, $34,000. 22nd August 2022, transfer to Thomas Daddy Bremer, $57,600. 31st August 2022, $97,804. 11 November 2022, $104,830. 11 November 2022, $3,080. 16 December, $1,500. 4th January 2023, $15,500. 11 January 2023, $2,500. 1st February 2023, $2,235. 10th February 2023, $5,000. 14th August 2023, $4,196. 29 January, $5,000. 24th February, $5,000. April 2024, $2,000. And so forth and so forth. The total is $720,144. The total transfer to Thomas Daddy Bremer's account, Union Trust Bank, Commerce and Mortgage Bank, from the SLFA account at Union Trust Bank and Commerce and Mortgage Bank to Thomas Daddy Bremer. So these are these two accounts, the SLFA account are these two. The total that went to Thomas Daddy Bremer over a period starting the 25th June 2021 to the 12th of July 2024, Thomas Daddy Bremer received a grand total of $720,144,000. Jacob, where's Jacob? What I want to know is here. There's this here and there's here. Whether this total is only for Commerce Bank and the UTB total is different. Right. The total is for the 720. All right. So the total is 720,144. But there is also the Leone transfers to Thomas Daddy Bremer apart from that money. 8 July 2022, refund to President under 17 Camp McKinney, $58,000. 58 million news, or 58,000 news in new news. 21st October 2022, 28,000 2022, loan payback, Sierra Leone Female League Board, 170,000 news. 12 July 2023, PMT of traveling allowance under 20, 81,200 news. And 12 July 2023, Congress allowance, Thomas Daddy Brima, which could be legitimate, 5,000 news. And payment of quarterly executive, 184,000 news. The total, apart from cash, just from his account, what he received from SLFA into his account, because there were large cash payments to him. But what he received through direct bank transfers is 454,750 United States dollars, separate from the Leone's payments. 454,750 United States dollars. 454,750 United States dollars received through bank transfer. So that excludes the cash payments that were done to him. Now I will continue. I was just showing you the various tables. So review of SLFA Leone's account. I'm now returning to the report. I was with the tables. Review of SLFA Leone's account also showed that a total of 498,200 was transferred to the SLFA President Thomas Daddy Brima during the period with no documentation or explanation submitted by the finance officer. So the real tragedy of this investigation is the finance officer cannot tell us anything. And it is the finance officer who should be able to say, this is why we paid this to Thomas Daddy Brima. But when you ask him, he will just say, well, the president requested and we had to honor. On 26 July 2022, an inflow of $250,000 from cash was made to SLFA account. Several transfers were immediately made to the personal account of Thomas Daddy Brima. The transfers were made to his Thomas Daddy Brima personal account maintained at Commerce and Mortgage Bank. 10 more transactions of similar nature were cited for the period between 2021 of January to January 2025. Every time SLFA received funds from FIFA and CAF, showing a pattern. So every time FIFA sent money or CAF received money, we have a wave of refunds. Thomas Daddy Brima, the SLFA president, said in his interview that he is mandated by Section 38 to sign unilaterally and act legally as he sees fit. We disagree with that completely. He says by Section 38, he is mandated to sign unilaterally and act legally as he deems fit. So basically, he's basically saying he can ignore all the rules of SLFA and do what he wants. We disagree with that and we do not accept it. It was observed from Thomas Daddy Brima's personal account maintained at Commerce and Mortgage Bank that a total of 454,750 were indeed transferred to his account from SLFA accounts for the period between 2021 and January 2025. All these payments were made without proper documentation, nor are there evidence of transfer made in respect of SLFA activities to vendors or third parties related transactions. So there is something accounting which we call third party confirmation. You say you bought sachets of water from a particular third party. You have to show how you gave the third party the money, and the third party has to confirm that they received the money. Zero. We observe that there are no trace or transfers made to other accounts into Thomas Daddy Brimer's personal account maintained at Commerce and Mortgage Bank, except funds received from SLFA accounts. So here is an account that received nothing else. His account is usually empty or with very low balances. SLFA funds are the only significant cash inflows or credit payments into his account. The valuation report from Alcon indicates that. So we are now going into procurement issues. The financial issues are the ones I have now presented to you. There is a company called Alcon. The valuation report from Alcon indicates that bidders must submit 3 years audited financial reports as a specific requirement. However, this requirement was not indeed in the bid advertised by SLFA in various newspapers. This gave Lexon an Alcon advantage to win SLFA bids, as they were privileged to submit additional documents with their bids, whilst the advertised bid lacked those information. So basically, this is a very classic bid rigging process, where you advertise one thing and tell people to submit, but you have a hidden requirement that you know, which you did not submit. So when you are now evaluating, you basically look at it and say, oh, these people have provided this, these ones did not provide this. And we saw a lot of that in SLFA. A mandatory 3 years audited financial report for a successful bid was clearly stated in the minutes of the procurement committee meeting, and the evaluation report was not stated in the printed media newspaper, which makes it possible for the selected company to be aware of such requirements and submit the statements. They deliberately ensured that Lexon provides certain documents, and they did not inform the public to provide these documents. So Lexon is the company that benefited from all SLFA contracts. Lexon benefited from almost all SLFA contracts, whether it's to build a hostel, whether it's to put a turf somewhere, it's Lexon. Despite being aware of 3 years audited financial report requirement, Lexon only submitted 2 years financial statement for the income statement and statement of financial position 2021-2022, and different years for the cash flow statement 2022 and 2023. This shows that the contracts were awarded to Lexon with incomplete documentation. There is a discrepancy between the profit reported in the income statement for 2022 and the profit reflected in the cash flow statement for the same year by Lexon. This raises concerns about the accuracy of their financial reporting, which could have been grounds for disqualification in the bidding process, but we are nonetheless awarded the contracts. The supposed auditors of Lexon, Buntijan, Duarte, and Co., made it clear to the commission that they didn't prepare the audited financial statements that Lexon submitted in their quest to win the bid. Buntijan and Duarte and Co. made it clear that they to the commission that they didn't prepare the audited financial statement that Lexon submitted in their quest to win the bids. They pointed out that the stamp on the statements is fake. The signature on the reports does not belong to any of their partners or auditors, and they have never carried any work for a company named Lexon. When confronted, the owner of Lexon, Alex Lamboy, confessed that he paid some account clerk named Edmond Kuroma to help him with an audited report because it was a criterion for the bid. He added that the SLFA never reviewed or questioned the documents he submitted. And we checked the SLFA and they confirmed this. They just accepted it hook, line, and sinker. When confronted about the discrepancies in his NACIT documentation, Alex Lamboy, who is the owner of Lexon, confessed that he forged the NACIT receipt for the contract bid due to urgency, submitted it, was accepted by SLFA, and was never questioned by it. From the interviews and documents reviewed, it was clear that the contract was awarded to a company that submitted several forged documents in their bid. The valuation report and the due diligence should have been done by Alcon Construction, who was the consultant, but they failed to verify and submit documents and recommended Lexon instead. The president, general secretary, and head of finance all claimed they had little or nothing to do with these bids, and that it was the responsibility of the procurement committee and the consultant Alcon Construction to oversee the bidding process and award of contract. When confronted about why he, the president, signed off on a contract worth $527,000.05 without due diligence, he claims it was not his responsibility. He also could not name the members of the said procurement committee, which he said was constituted. There is a discrepancy between the bidding submission date and the closing date stated in the invitation for bids manual, compared to the dates published in the newspapers, Satellite and Night Watch. We discovered that the Africa 24 newspaper advertised the bidding for the project after the closing date. The Africa 24 newspaper advertised the bidding for the project after the closing date, raising concerns about whether the project was adequately advertised at all. According to Alcon Construction, the estimated completion period for the project is 6 months. However, Boom Enterprises was rejected for stating similar completion period of 6 months, while Lexon Construction also made a similar 6-month completion date and was deemed reasonable for completing the project. Lexon was preferred to other bidders regardless of the similar submissions they made. In 2021, a sum of $17,400 was transferred from UTB SLFA account to Casting Roads Commodities, according to which he is said to be a business owned by the president. Thomas Dati Brahma is the one who owns Casting Road. And SLFA transferred $17,400 to it. Thomas D. Brahma, both the finance and procurement officers have failed to explain the reason for the transfer or produce any documents supporting this transfer. In his interview, Thomas Dati Brahma said he does not recollect the transaction and never felt the need to officially disclose his interest in Casting Roads Commodities as the owner of it. He quoted Article 38 of the SLFA statute that gives him the right to sign and solely represent the association if he sees fit. He further stated that the transactions were all transactions by the General Secretary. Let me also add that one of the contracts that we are giving to was it Lexon or Alcon? The one in the secret. Is it Alcon? Lexon. That is Alcon. Now we also saw a very strange situation where one of the contracts that we are giving to Lexon, this is a lot of money for some construction work. In all my years of legal practice and drafted many contracts, I saw with my own eyes a document where Thomas Dati Brahma signed as president of SLFA and also signed as the witness of his own signature. I've never seen it in my entire life. Therefore, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, these are the facts that we have as of now. We believe that these are very concerning. We know that this country loves football and we want to see football played. But it is also the responsibility of the government to ensure that we do not create a black hole. If it is not a black hole, there should be justifications, documents, proper structures in place to justify how monies are spent. Because whether the money comes from CAF, it comes from FIFA, it is still money meant for the people of Sierra Leone. It is not a personal money. Therefore, to say because Section 38 gives you the right to do what you feel and do, and therefore you can use it the way you feel like, we think this is wrong. We believe this is unacceptable. And therefore, we believe that there should be accountability. And that is why, distinguished members of the press, that we arrested Thomas Dadi Ibrahima and the finance officer and the signatory who are jointly signatories to SLFA accounts and the principal administrators of the institution within this period under review, so that the people of Sierra Leone can have answers. We take note that Congress is set to take place tomorrow, and we are going to take action to ensure that the Congress goes ahead. Therefore, Thomas Dadi Ibrahima is going to be put on bail immediately after this press conference. And so too are the other members, to enable them go ahead with Congress. But the investigations will continue and will ensure that there is accountability. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much, Commissioner, for taking your time to bring our partners to speed. Now it's question time. Hello? But make sure you limit your question to the subject being presented here. Thomas Dixie, are you with me? Make sure you limit your question to the subject that has been discussed here. Yes, madam. Name and let's listen, please.
Good morning, all. I am Maria Sasamua, Head of Sports, AYV. Simple question. From what we gathered, 3 members were detained, including the Secretary General, the Finance Man, and of course the President. But from all what I've heard here this morning, no single mention of the Secretary General. So I would like to know on which basis he was detained. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes.
I'm Jeff John from Start and question to the ACC Commissioner. It is not an hidden secret that the ACC don't have good record of football matters. You failed to win against Aisha Johansson. You don't think that you're about to win?
Come again, so that
I got a question.
Okay. All right. Any other? Yeah.
Okay. My name is Mohammed Fajabari. I'll just from what we've heard from the commissioner here, it's like all the monies commissioner talked about came from FIFA and CAF, and we all know that FIFA frowns at third-party interference. From experience, the Aisha Johansson case, we know how it ended and what it led to, the suspension of Sierra Leone. He was arrested, detained, subsequently indicted, and was asked to step aside in line with the ACC Act. So I just want to, did you take these things into consideration? Because, I mean, FIFA always frowns at this. They always perceived it to be third-party interference.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Umar.
Thank you very much. Commissioner, I wanted to ask, all the monies involved, as you've explained, did they all come from?
Okay.
Yes, Commissioner, all the monies you explained, did they all come from CAF and FIFA, or did they include Sierra Leone government money as well? And secondly, I know that you say Lexon is owned by Alex Lamboy, but did you do any investigations into trying to establish whether Lexon had